Hey guys, we had a great question yesterday around food. To start with, any question is a great question. The only stupid questions are the questions that you don't ask. Because if you don't know, you don't know. And if you don't ask, you still won't know. So keep asking the questions. But anyway, the question was around how do you know the difference between if you are physically hungry or mentally hungry? How can you differentiate the two? We all go through that where we're not necessarily hungry, but we still eat into foods, and then maybe we feel guilty, as a result. And certainly, if we are trying to stay in shape, lose a little bit of weight, maybe we're on some kind of a diet, then eating the foods that you necessarily didn't want to eat into or you don't feel you need are going to have a massive impact on what happens. Certainly when it comes to trying to lose weight, if you're eating excess calories, you're really going to struggle. But what if it didn't have to be that way? What if you decided on the way that you're going to eat, whatever your eating plan may be? Maybe it's suiting you, you're losing weight. What if you was able to remove those times where you did overeat, you did choose into something that led you to feeling, guilty afterwards? What if you didn't have to go through that process? What if there was a way that you could do that? Because, perfectly honest, any diet plan in the world works. If you enjoy it and you can sustain it, it does work. But often where diets or an eating plan fails is that you end up going off plan, which is perfectly normal. It's perfectly common. So, rather than beating yourself up around foods that you've eaten that you didn't necessarily want to do, what if you could have this sort of bulletproof mindset that would help you, wouldn't completely cure it, but just help you stop having those moments where you did overeat, you did choose into things that led you to feeling guilty? How would that feel? Because I tell you this, it can happen. All the people that I do work with, we kind of work around these things, because people who work with me or they know me, they know that we never ever diet. I never put someone on a diet, because quite simply this, diets don't work. Diets are not there to be sustainable, and if you can't sustain it, you won't retain it. So I never ever get someone to be on a diet. What I will do is get someone to choose into an eating plan that they enjoy, because when they enjoy it, they will sustain it. So that is something that would need to really be sort of worked on a one-to-one kind of level. But anyway, back to the video. So imagine you didn't have to go through this process where you had guilt, you chose into foods that you didn't want to choose into. It's possible. Now you could talk about all kinds of things, and I could rabbit on all day about this, so I'll keep it short and simple. Yes, if you're dehydrated, you could get false signals of being hungry, so staying hydrated, I can't say this enough, is important for everything, not just food cravings or anything diet related. Just staying hydrated is going to put you in the right state of mind, because if you're dehydrated, you automatically go into this stressed out physiological state, and when you're stressed, you're more likely to eat into foods you don't want to do. So keep drinking the water, and then you can talk about habits. Maybe I've created this habit and then I just do it because it's what I normally do. Yes, you could argue with that. I've been in a situation myself where I've created a habit because I've constantly had food cravings at a certain time of the day, And even when I resolved those cravings, I was still choosing into these foods because it was a habit. But rather than say, right, let's override that habit, certainly when it comes to food cravings and eating, it's tough to do that. So let's go after actually the root cause. Why are you feeling hungry in the first place? So whatever time of the day it is, if you're picking up this pattern that you keep, you've eaten your dinner, you've eaten your lunch, whatever the case may be, but then you're still hungry after, maybe an hour after, where you might be choosing into foods that often helping you feel guilty. Think, why am I still hungry? Have I eaten enough? Have I eaten the right foods? Have these foods contain plenty of protein? Because protein fills you up. This is one area that people really struggle with. They don't eat enough protein. Do they have healthy fats in? Again, healthy fats fill you up. Just imagine eating like a big handful of nuts. It's far it's completely different to when you just eat a sandwich. You stay fuller for longer. So are you getting protein in there? Are you getting your fats in there? Are you eating foods full of nutrient dense calories? A lot of food cravings or overeating issues come from the fact that your brain isn't satisfied. Does it have the required vitamins and minerals in the body? Because if it doesn't, what it will do, it will send a signal. Your brain go, right, I'm still hungry. It's kind of like a weird thing. It goes around your body. Do I have magnesium? Do I have zinc? Do I have vitamin A? Do I have vitamin D? If it doesn't have one of those things, it kind of like remembers the last time that you ate a food that has that thing. So an example here is a lot of people will maybe eat chocolate. Now chocolate has magnesium in. Most people are deficient in magnesium. So you could argue that it's not that you are craving for chocolate, but you are actually craving for magnesium. Your brain just remembers that Kit Kat has magnesium in it. Now that's just an example, it's not the only thing, but it's a really common situation that I get picked up on. And then salt. Are you salt deficient? A lot of people kind of get this misconception that salt's bad for you. Table salt's bad for you, but good quality salt has over 80 odd minerals in that we need. If you don't have these minerals, you're going to create this food craving. Perfect at the moment, you're sweating a lot. I'm sweating now. It's hot. You're sweating a lot. When you sweat, you lose certain trace minerals. If you don't replace them, your body's lacking them. It's going to send that signal that I need something salty. Okay, so we have to go deeper on this stuff. It's never that you are just overeating, you're a pig, you've got a food problem. The thing is never the thing, it's normally something else. It's just that people don't have this awareness, they don't have the knowledge. So then they think that they're not good enough, which is never, ever the truth. Now, another thing that I'm going to mention, really big thing, I mentioned it at the beginning, is stress. If you are currently stressed, you are going to overeat. Because quite simply, when we are in a stressed environment, we go into fight mode when we talk about fight or flight. If you're in fight mode, you're in a stressed mode. Your body basically wants to eat food. It's just one of the basic common rules of the 3Fs: fight, flight and freeze. So stress comes from all kinds of situations. Is that physical or is that emotional? Physical, am I physically stressed because I'm hungry? Have I overtrained? Have I under-eaten? Or am I emotionally stressed because I'm having a hard day at work? Somebody's pissed me off. I've been on a phone call and someone's had a go at me. It's put me in a stressed environment. Did I sleep poorly last night? Again, you're going to be stressed. So if you're in a stressed environment, you are going to overeat. So again, let's stop thinking about the foods that we are eating, but let's look at the other things. So it's not necessarily what you eat, but who are you when you eat it? Ask yourself that question. How do I feel at the moment? Do I feel good? If you feel good, great. You're normally going to choose into things that serve you well. If you don't feel too good right now, for whatever reason, you're run down, you're overwhelmed, you're stressed, you are at some point going to choose into something that you regret, because you're not necessarily in control. You are in a reactive mindset. Your brain goes into automatic. So that's really, really important. You're not overeating, you're not a pig, you're not doing anything wrong. You're just doing what your brain kind of wants you to do at that moment in time. I'll just mention one last thing, blood sugars. Okay, if you've got blood sugar issues, again, a lot of people do. This is something that I cover in my immersion program. If your blood sugars are all over the place, going up and down, you are again going to overeat, choose into food that you don't necessarily want. An example is if you go 4, 5, 6 hours without food, you open the fridge, you eat anything, don't you? You don't choose what you want, you just eat anything. You'll eat that Mars bar, you'll eat that cake, you'll bite someone's hand off. Again, stress makes blood sugar go haywire. So I'll leave it there and leave you with the message that, remember, it's not necessarily the food that you do eat, but who are you when you eat it? What's happened in your day over the last few hours? Are you stressed? Have you undereaten? Are you giving your body what it needs? Well, bit of a mad ramble there. I hope you got something from that and it potentially either helped you, answered your question, or started making you think a little bit differently. That it's not just about the food, it's not about the exercise, it's not about the nutrition. There's a lot more that we can talk about. As I've put up before in my health formation pyramid, at the top here it's weight loss, exercise and nutrition. At the bottom it's physiology and mindset. If those things aren't working or they're not in alignment, any diet or exercise plan just is not going to work. The thing isn't the thing. There's something else causing it. Alright, any questions, pop them below and then I'll be back with you soon. Take care.